Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about a place that is very dear to my heart. It's my childhood home, the place I grew up. Childhood homes are places that stick with us. It's where we celebrate birthdays, play with our friends, got in trouble, learn from our mistakes. Most people have many fond memories of their childhood homes. A little background info. I grew up in Bastrop, Texas, in an area right next to a beautiful golf course. The area was full of families, many with kids my age, so I had plenty of playmates. The house itself was the most luxurious home I've ever lived in, and I loved it. It wasn't made of solid gold or anything, but it was modern, well-built, and pretty large. I'm sure most people can relate to this feeling of attachment that I feel anyways. For the places that we grew up, for those who can relate, we're influenced by these feelings for the rest of our life. I know that my childhood home is unforgettable to me. I mean, it represents a time in my life where my family wasn't struggling financially. I was young, carefree, and had everything I needed. One of my fondest memories of living in Palo Vista may not seem very significant to you, but it was to me. What I remember was wandering around the neighborhood with my siblings and my friends, pulling a little red wagon, gathering all the stray golf balls from all over the area. Our home was basically built on the golf course, so there were always golf balls strewn about. My little red wagon was filled to the max with golf balls of different colors and designs. I was pretty proud of it. It's such a fond memory for me because it happened during a time when I was a kid without a care in the world. My excitement revolved around what cool treasures I would find for my collection. Life was simple. This home represents many meaningful times in my life. For example, when we lived in Palo Vista, my dad was a well-paid real estate agent and my mom worked for a big computer marketing company. We actually had reliable income and were able to afford living in a safe and beautiful area without a lot of worry. That hasn't happened in a really long time. When I look back on this time, I feel happy because it's one of the only times I've witnessed my family as financially stable. Things changed big time after a while. The company my mom worked for was bought out and went bankrupt shortly after. My parents, as devoted Christians, discussed their options and felt they needed to follow a new path that God was leading them on. We ended up moving to Great Bend, Kansas so that my dad could take up a ministry position here. Because of this, I had to leave my childhood home, my friends, and even my family behind. My cousins and my aunts and uncles, who were really close to at the time, all stayed in Bastrop. It was definitely not easy leaving them, but I didn't have a choice in the matter. In Great Bend, my dad ministered to a small congregation and enjoyed it, but it didn't pay well, so he worked many other jobs on top of that. He and my mom jumped from job to job to try to make ends meet. Things did turn out better than I expected in Great Bend. My sister and I started public school for the first time in a long time, and we made new friends pretty quickly. We were homeschooled back in Texas. We all still missed our homes in Texas though. To top it all off, Palo Vista, the area where my childhood home was, nearly burnt to the ground in 2011. Wildfires struck Bastrop and just tore up the place. I went back to visit the area a few years ago and witnessed the destruction firsthand. It was heartbreaking to see the place I loved so dearly destroyed. My old home survived, but it was one of the few. I was thankful that it did though. I got the chance to look at it at least one more time, and I'm sure I'll drive by several more times in the future. It was just crazy to see what used to be such a pretty landscape, now almost barren. I do have a before and after picture of Palo Vista if anyone else is interested in looking at it. But anyway, I'm never going to forget the memory of the place I grew up, and I'm sure many of you can relate to the feeling and are re-embarking the experience that took place in your childhood homes. I don't think the feeling of attachment ever really go away. I mean, we cling to our childhood whether we want to or not, but that's okay. There's always certain places or people or experiences we have in our lives that shape who we are, and whether it's your childhood home, your best friend, your grandpa who shaped your beliefs, they're always with us and there always will be. That's all. Thanks for listening.